Steven Giordano. He's running for sheriff, and I cannot wait to talk to him today about things. But really, what I want people to know is your background. Why are you the perfect candidate for sheriff?
And thank you so much for having me, Neil, on your show. I really appreciate you. The reason why I am the best candidate for the job here in St. Lucie County is because I used to work for St. Lucie County Sheriff's Office from 2005 to 2015. I know the components of the department. I know the people of the department. Also, Neil, I grew up here in St. Lucie County since 1989. So, most of all, I know the community. So, I am your local hometown sheriff. Steven Giordano is here for the people of St. Lucie County.
So let's just jump. So I loved how you nailed all the talking points, but let's first talk about growing up here. How important
Yeah,
compared, let's talk about you. I know
sure.
you're running as a Democrat, but ultimately at
Yeah,
the end of the day, you have more probably of a Republican stance on certain topics and others. Let's just first talk about the first topic. And this is really what I want to jump into that's important is that you know this area. Your
yes,
competitors who are
yes.
running do not know this area. Kind of go into that.
Yeah, sure. So I'm a product of all public schools here. I went to all schools, elementary, middle, and high school here, and I know the business owners. I know the department. I know the people. Working here in St. Lucie County, I am your local blue collar worker. This is not about a Republican or Democrat. The sheriff's office race should be a nonpartisan race, but it is a partisan race. I am running as a Democrat. I used to be a Republican. So, therefore, also, Neil, I feel I'm the best candidate for that job as well because I know both sides of the political aspects of what's important to the people. Just because I'm running as a Democrat, there's a lot of misconceptions out there. And I want to set the record straight. Giordano supports the Second Amendment. Giordano will never defund our own department. And Giordano, most of all, backs the brave men and women of our St. Lucie County Sheriff's Office, first responders, 911 dispatch, firefighters, EMS, just everybody. I am here solely for all the people of St. Lucie County.
All right, so that's a great point. You talk about locality, you talk about specifically enough, you address the Democrat thing. Your competitors are
Yes.
running only because they're politicians, not because they understand how to
My,
run
my
the
opponent,
department.
correct. My opponent is the chief police of Port St. Lucie. I wish he would just stay in his lane and stay as the chief police of Port St. Lucie. Why does he need to use this as a stepping stone for his own political agenda? He's going to leave the Port St. Lucie Police Department up in shambles because when if he was to cross that path to another department, which is a totally different retirement, a totally different area, a total different standard of a department because we have a jail, we have a courthouse. The St. Lucie County Sheriff's Office is a different department compared to Port St. Lucie Police Department. So it's very important that the community knows that I know how to run a jail. I know the moving parts of the jail. I know the courthouse. Port St. Lucie Police Department does not have that. And I would like to work with him. Hopefully, the community comes together. I win as sheriff, and we can work together as he's still the chief police of Port St. Lucie, and we can work together to put the bad guys behind jail.
So here's my question for you. You look at two particulars when you talk about the whole process. What's the difference between where you work and where he works when it comes to community and stuff like that and
Yeah,
police?
sure. So the sheriff's office has a bigger budget. We have more employees. I'm a successful businessman. I run budgets, I run employees. So I think just having a personable, approachable, local hometown sheriff like Giordano is a win-win for our community.
No, it sounds like it for sure, and that's very important. Let's talk about, are there different aspects to you and your opponent when it comes to this campaign, especially
Well,
what they
sure.
want to plan on doing?
Absolutely. So I worked at the jail. I was a correctional deputy for about 10 years. He's been a cop for 26 years. A sheriff is over the whole department. So you don't necessarily have to, have all this law enforcement experience to be the sheriff. I think, the best quality that Giordano brings to the table is learning those interpersonal skills working at the jail, dealing with all those different types of individuals on a one-on-one basis, just like we do as sheriff when we're building relationships in the community. Again, I'm not political. I am not a politician. I am here to, for the deputies to listen to them, to make their jobs easier, to make our community safer, and to bring that together, bridge the gap between law enforcement and residents. One thing that I will be doing as sheriff every single month we'll be having monthly meetings at St. Lucie County Sheriff's Office, bringing in the general public, listening to the community and what the concerns are. Where are the points that we need to help you? I'm not a Mr. Know-it-all. I'm not that guy. I'm not, somebody who's going to forget where they came from. I'm not a politician. I want to listen to the people, and I just want to help people out, and I want to make our community more successful. I'm a very successful businessman. That's why I pretty much self-funded my own campaign. They say if you want to, find corruption, you follow the money trail. You're not going to find that with Giordano. I'm running a clean campaign, and I've used a lot of my own money for that reason. So I will put an end to corruption and the good old boy system here in St. Lucie County.
And you're the person who ran it before. What things need fixed?
Sure. So, I think we need somebody who's just going to listen to the community, make it safer, get deep dive into the community. They actually see the sheriff knocking on people's doors. It's going to be a wow experience for what I'm going to do here in St. Lucie County. Having the pastors come into the St. Lucie County Sheriff's Office, listening to what the concerns are of the community, because we have over, I believe it's like 70 something churches here in Fort Pierce alone. And listening to business owners, and then working with people who are getting out of jail on a reform system for our community. So that way, when people get out of jail, the business owners that come to the sheriff's office that we're going to talk about that might need employees, hey, these guys are going to be our neighbors one day. I don't know why all departments don't do this, but this is, again, why people should vote for Giordano, because I'm a successful businessman and I want to help the community be more successful. It's not just about arresting people and taking them to jail. It's about our community and making it successful so we have lesser crime.
So what do you believe is needed to be sheriff of this county?
Somebody like myself who is boots on the ground, actively involved in our community like I've been for almost 2 years, who self-funded their campaign, who's here for the right reasons. I'm not here for political, egotistical, or money reasons. I'm here to give back to the community that I was raised in. And if people can go to my website, giordanoforsheriff.com, and they actually read my website, they will see that the first year as sheriff, I will be donating half my salary back to the community. What sheriff in the state of Florida or the United States has ever donated half their salary back to the community?
So talk about your experience as a business owner and how serious being a business owner is when you run to be sheriff, especially a big company like you said. Yeah.
Absolutely. So we have 750 employees. We have a lot of civilians, command staff, detention deputies, law enforcement officers, detectives, special investigations unit, traffic units. We have a lot of different types of divisions within the department. So again, I think it just boils down to me being that personable, local business owner, successful, listening to the people, not a politician, ready to work with the deputies, ready to help the deputies, give them the leader that they want. Somebody who's genuinely here to help them and listen to them. I want to meet with every single deputy and civilian at the sheriff's office for as long as it takes in my office, have them come in. What can Giordano do to make this department better? What are the problems in the department? What are the things that you see that need to be fixed here? And what can I do to help you?
Your opponent, what is his thoughts regarding funding for the police and all that stuff? Your opponent.
I don't know, to be honest with you, Neil.
Okay. All right. So this is just doing the interview.
Yeah.
Yes. You don't know, your opponent doesn't matter because you bring all the different things to the table. But as a Democrat, when other Democrats want to defund the police and other things, how detrimental is that?
So that's fake news here in St. Lucie County. We're never going to defund our own department. I think, those are some more ideal things going on in like Seattle or, these bigger cities. Here in St. Lucie County, we love our law enforcement. We love what we do here. And just because it's a political Democrat, this is not on a national level. I tell people this, we cannot control what goes on in Washington. We cannot control what goes on in Texas, but what we can control is right here in St. Lucie County, we can control who are we going to put in these positions of power. And I just want everybody to know that I'm genuinely here to help any way that I can. And I hope if you're a Republican, you can look past the party lines and vote and understand that Giordano is genuinely here to help you and listen to the community and be boots on the ground, actively involved for you to make sure you're safe, you and your family.
I think you understand it. So being a sheriff, so the sheriff oversees like 750 people. The second thing that the sheriff does is you're going to be the one that's going to be seen as a sheriff. Some just stay in their
Correct.
office.
So we're the
Explain,
chief
so
law
you know the
enforcement
community,
officer.
what you're going to go do. Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're the chief law enforcement officer. The sheriff is over the county as a whole. So for me, it's about bringing unity to all the departments. It's about bringing the community together to rebuild that trust in law enforcement. It's an imperative that we have that trust in law enforcement with our civilians and staff. So we need to really work together. And that's what Giordano is going to do. We're going to bring the community and law enforcement together. Everybody's going to feel comfortable. We're going to have transparency within the department. We're going to have accountability for everyone, including myself at the top. And that's going to go all the way down.
All right. I the biggest things when you look at the sheriff, you talked about in another interview on my co-host show. You talked about how important you're going to look into that, how you can decrease
Yeah,
crime.
for sure. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for bringing that up because I get so sidetracked and I get excited about this because I'm very passionate about our community. I'm passionate about running for sheriff. And I think the youth is obviously our future. A lot of families, a lot of kids here in St. Lucie County. And I think it's very important that they understand that our school resource officers are a very big, part of building that trust and relationships with the youth. So I want to make sure that all school resource officers are actively involved, building those relationships with our kids, with families. And, if there's a fight that happens or there's a gang activity, or there's a gun that's brought to school, we need to visit the homes of these parents and find out what's going on and what we can do as a department to help the community to make sure that your son or daughter is not going to commit a felony in the future and ruin his or her life. We really need to make sure that, our kids and the future of our kids and community are going to be successful. So, those monthly meetings at the sheriff's office, we're going to have a parenting month too as well, where we bring in the parents. Hey, you got a concerned kid? We want you to come to the sheriff's office. We want to talk to you.
How important is it you know the sheriff's office, especially if
It's
somebody
very important.
came from somewhere else versus
It
you're not an outsider.
Well, Neil, it's very important, and that's what I want to bring to the community is I want the people to feel comfortable coming to the sheriff's office. Do you feel comfortable going to your local sheriff's office?
No.
Look, you're smiling.
No.
See what I mean? Exactly. I don't want people to feel like that. If you see something, I want them to say something. That's huge. And I want them to feel comfortable about that. I don't want somebody to feel they're going to get in trouble just because they say something of somebody else they saw doing something wrong, illegal, hurting someone, or know about a crime. There's a lot of cold cases here. I'm also going to be cracking open some of these cold cases because there's families that have not been brought to there's people that have not been brought to justice here, and we're gonna get some detectives on these cases because it's ridiculous some of the stuff I see and hear.
Am I correct? You've also worked in this office, right? Or
Yes, I worked for St. Louis County Sheriff's Department as a correctional deputy for almost a decade,
okay, before you then became a business.
and I've taken educational classes as well, report writing,
Right.
Spanish for law enforcement, and also I'm a dual certified officer. I got dual certified in 2015.
Okay. And then what made you what's the reason now you're going to run? Because is that
Well,
because
I'm really tired of bullshit politicians. I really, I hope there's no kids listening, but
okay.
people, like I said, my opponent is the chief police of Port St. Lucie. I wish he would stay in his lane and stay where he's at. He makes $190-something thousand a year. I know the department, I know the community. That's why I feel I'm a better candidate for the job. But politicians, they don't do what they're supposed to do. I'm not a politician. I want the people's backing, and everybody knows that the people that know me, Giordano's here for the right reasons.
All right. So how can people help you? What's the best thing with only 20 days till the election?
Sure. Just helping me spread the word, Giordano for Sheriff. Share my stuff on Facebook. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your coworkers. Whatever you could do to help is much appreciated. I'm very humbled to be in this position. And if anybody wants to volunteer, my phone number is on my website, StephenGiordanoforSheriff.com.
All right. We appreciate it, Stephen. I mean, it's great
Thank you,
stuff. I
Neil.
love your motivation and your
Thanks, man.
fire. That's
Yeah,
what
man, I'm
you
passionate about
share.
this, dude. When I get to talking,
Exactly. You
yeah,
get
I love this, man.
excited and
Thank you.
it's ready. And who
Yeah.
knows,